nonetheless improve our life in every area of our life. Hey, we got this, you guys. Let me take a seat. Okay, so let's get rich now. We have to, you guys know, I am rebranding myself in every area of my life, and I'm hoping that you join me in making changes in your life. Okay, so today's segment is going to be, I'm going to do several videos on this, so man, it's crazy. It's crazy. Okay, so when you're rich, and say when you have money, and when you're gone, there's some people that say, I don't care what happened to my money when I'm gone. Okay, that's you. But when I'm gone, I want to pass my wealth down to my daughter, my grandchildren, my children's children, and children's children. So I don't want to just my money that I worked really hard for to go to, say, the state or the government and let them make a decision on how to spend my money. And sometimes people make bad decisions. So nonetheless, we are going to talk about what do you do when you do get rich, when you do make money. And some of you already have money. So what we're going to talk about is guardianship. I don't know if you guys can see this, but what we're going to talk about is guardianship, probate, conservatorship. We're going to talk about case managers, social workers, guardian ad litem, bank, trust companies, home health care, caregivers, medical supplies, doctors. We're going to talk about it all, y'all. And do I know anything about this? Yes. And I'm about to tell you right now. I'm going to sum it up, and then I'm going to give you some segments. Okay, so guardianship and conservatorship is the same thing. And let's say, how can you get into a guardianship or conservatorship? Okay, so I have a niece. I'm her guardian. I'm her guardian, and my mother's her guardian, and we're called guardian of person. And then there's a guardian of estate, which is supposed to be myself, my mother, and the bank. I'm going to say the bank because I'm going to tell you about a lot of unethical things that's going on, and I don't want to mention the bank name. But if you send me a message, like if you message me, I will message you back and let you know who I'm talking about. But I'm not going to say it publicly, but I will tell you if you message me personally. So conservatorship and guardianship is the same thing. It just depends on which state you're in. In Illinois, it's guardianship. And then say, I don't know, California or something, or New York, it might be called conservatorship. So how it goes is, if they feel, the state feels that you cannot take care of yourself or make the right financial decisions, they will appoint people to make those decisions for you. Now let me get something clear, because people need to know this. They really need to know this. People that are in a guardianship or conservatorship, the guardian, that might be a family member or whatever, is not in control of that person's money. The people, the predators that are stealing the money and doing all the bad stuff, it's the bank, it's the guardian ad litem. Where's the guardian ad litem? There. It's the bank, it's the guardian ad litem, it's the home health care company, even the caregivers. It's the case manager, social worker, medical supply company. It's all of these people. And let me tell you something about the guardianship and conservatorship. It's a system that can be a great system if you didn't have people that are within the system, say guardian ad litems and banks, and if you didn't have these greedy people that's taking advantage of innocent people, it could be a great system. But let me say this, with any system, there are predators in it. And you say, well, what are you talking about? You see it every day where a judge is locked up for doing something really bad. You see every day where there's attorneys being licensed or being taken away from doing bad things. You see every day where police officers are going to jail, even more now than before, for doing really bad things to people. So, do that mean all policemen are bad? No, it does not mean that at all. Do that mean all judges are bad? No, it does not mean that at all. So there is a selection of people that do bad things, and those people are the ones that have the most cases. We do have, so let me tell you my situation. My sister had, she got pregnant, and she went to Cook County, I wasn't supposed to say the hospital, right? She went to the hospital. Well, I can say Cook County Hospital, whatever. She went to the hospital, because I don't even think Cook County Hospital is in existence anymore. It's another hospital now. So she went to the hospital, and at this hospital, they have a lot of, what do you call them, students. So she went to have a baby. Well, she was at one hospital. She didn't have no insurance, no nothing, but they ended up sending her over to that hospital to have her baby. So she was in the delivery room to have her baby. They gave her some medication via G-tube, not G-tube, I'm sorry, via IV. They gave her some medication via IV. And when they gave her the medication, they were supposed to put a clamp on it, because they was only supposed to give her a certain amount. The student that was supposed to clip the clamp didn't. Like, she thought she did, but she didn't do it. So my sister ended up getting too much medication. And because she got too much medication, she ended up going into cardiac arrest or something. She started screaming, I can't breathe, I can't breathe, I can't breathe. And so they spent quite a bit of time trying to bring her back, because she was dying on the table. They were trying to bring her back. And while they were trying to bring her back, they didn't even think like, hey, we should call some more people in here to get the baby out of it. Y'all get the baby out of her while we try to bring her back. So they were like constantly trying to bring her back, because they know they made a mistake. And my niece was in her stomach, no air going to her brain. So now she's disabled, cerebral palsy, and a whole lot of more disabilities. She's in a wheelchair and all of that. So so the attorney, and this is how we had the attorney, how we ended up getting the attorney. There are attorneys called ambulance. I'm one of those people that can't say ambulance right. So medical trucks or whatever. The ambulance, there are people they call ambulance chasers. So that means that when somebody goes into the hospital, somebody in the hospital mess up, and that person get injured or die, then somebody from that hospital, say it's a nurse or somebody working there within the hospital, will give that attorney's information over to the person that is over to the person that family that have passed away. And in some states it's illegal. Should it be illegal in Illinois? I think it should. The only reason why I think it should be illegal here in Illinois is because sometimes the ambulance chasers are not very experienced attorneys. So the person that was an ambulance chaser was not a very experienced attorney. So what he did was he ended up getting another attorney, and they're working as a team. And so I think he got lesser of the pay, because the other company that he chose to help him got a bigger pay. And they got like, I don't know, like maybe about $2-3 million from my parents. So anyway, my parents sued, and what happened was, after 8 years, they still saying they fighting the case. And this is how corrupt I feel it is. After 8 years, they're still saying, oh, we still fighting the case. Whatever. So my auntie came to me and said, look, I think they're doing some really crazy stuff to your parents. You need to write a letter to the not the Better Business Bureau, to the Bar Association, and tell on me as attorneys. So she even told me how to write the letter. It wasn't even my idea, it was her idea. And I tell you, these attorneys was mad at me. So anyway, I wrote them a letter and said, look, if you guys don't settle this case in 30 days, I am going to get another attorney and to fight this case. Would you believe they settled their case in 30 days? In less than 30 days. So that just shows that they knew they had a good case. They was dragging it on and dragging it on just so they can get a bigger pay. That's how some attorneys is, and that's wrong. So nonetheless, and those same attorneys, I'm going to say this. He called me after my father passed away and I had to become guardian. He called me and said, hey, can I put your information on the website saying that I won the case for your niece and all of that? And I said no. And he put it on his website anyway and got a lot of new cases. Ridiculous. Why even ask me, can you do something? And I tell you no, and you put it on there anyway. And he didn't even, and the way he spoke of my sister and my niece, it was just like, how dare you? But nonetheless, so my parents sued, and they were awarded $15 million. Again, I went to the attorneys and was like, okay, you guys need to do whatever. And they were like, told my parents, if you tell your daughter to mind her own business and to go somewhere and not let her be a part of anything, I will give you and your wife each $100,000 for all the care that you care for your beautiful niece for the 8 years that you guys had to take care of her. My parents ain't never seen no money before in their life. They was like, yes! So they told me, go ahead on, we got this, get your butt on somewhere, girlfriend. So then after they did that, they went to court. Attorneys got all these millions of dollars. They made them put it in their chosen bank. And they had gave them a case manager. And and when it came to the $100,000 for both my parents, they told me, oh, the judge did not approve of the $100,000 for each of you. They said it should have been a privilege for you guys to take care of your disabled loved one. And so they got nothing. Do you hear me? They got nothing. And they still had to take care of my niece. And so, and they were still living in a molded apartment where they had to carry the wheelchair up a flight of stairs. And then one day, family members like, oh, we need to report this, that they should at least buy her a house, $15 million. I mean, come on. So they rented her house for about a year, and then they bought a house that was not even, the basement was molded. They had to gut out the basement, and it's still mold, a lot of mold that be in the basement. And they, so it was a lot of shady stuff going on with that, but it's not even accessible, the house, but they living in a house. So it can be very, they make the decisions. At that time, there was no guardian ad litem. It was just the case manager and the bank. And they were making all the decisions. The case manager had a social worker up under her. They made all the decisions for my parents. They gave them like $2,000 a month, but they had to pay all the bills in the house and buy food and food for, enough food for, I guess, when the caregivers come over, and they bought food for the house. They had to pay all the bills, and it was like once they got finished paying everything out of the $2,000 a month, they barely had enough left. So they were being very stressful to my father, and it was so much stress that the case manager caused on him that he not only had one aneurysm but two, and he died. And that's when I came on as the co-guardian, and I had to fight for that. So it is a lot, so I don't want this video to be too long, so I'm going to cut this video and go to the next. And one of the reasons why I wanted you guys to know the things concerning the guardianships, conservatorships, probate, and all of that is because your money matters. And you could be in this situation, say you win a big settlement and there's somebody that's disabled. You can be in the situation of a guardianship or a conservatorship because someone deemed that you were not able to manage your own money, like Wendy Williams and Britney Spears. So sometimes it may not be family members. It could be anybody. It can be your manager. It can be your friend. It can be your doctor. So it can be almost anybody. There are a lot of things like for an example, there's this book called Guardianship and the Elderly, The Perfect Crime. There's another book called Guardianship Fraud by M. Lawson. There's a movie called I Care a Lot. Trust me, that movie is for real. The person that made the movie said that it wasn't like it's just a movie, but that's probably because they got a lot of flack from the government or whoever. But it's real. And there's a group called NASGA, National Association to Stop Guardianship Abuse. And they will they will have so many things of how the judge, the guardian ad litem, the case manager, and all of these people that are misusing the elderly and the disabled, and they're taking their money, and nobody's doing anything about it. And I'm thinking, like, there's all these, every time there's an election, this would be a great way somebody could get a lot of votes by saying, hey, I'm going to clean up the guardianship, the conservatorship, and the probate. And they'll be like, yes, give them my votes, give them my votes. So I'm going to go down the line and just tell you a little bit more. So please stay tuned, because you want to know what you want to be able to say what's going to happen to your money. Like, if you're making this money, you should be able to, because when we were young, we didn't have it this great. I don't know about you, but we didn't have it this great. We had parents that was very negligent and didn't do what they were supposed to do as parents. I don't want to be like my mom nor my dad. I want to leave an inheritance for my kids and my children's children and so forth, because I don't want them to have to work and struggle as hard as I have. So we're going to talk more about this. Let's get rich now. Let's get rich, and let's change our lives in every area of our life. We can do this, and stay tuned. Like, share, and subscribe. We got this, y'all.